On an alternative ending for a PhD in physics, a degree in car design. Today is Monday, 7 July 2025, and I'm Tanis, she, her, hers of Seattle, and challenging myself, Tanis, she, her, hers of Seattle, to come up with an alternative ending for a PhD attempt in physics in Italy. I talk through a creative path for myself. Attainment of a Master of Science degree in Cardiology, Physiology, and a Master of Science degree in Physics, en route to a PhD in Physics that gets aborted after attainment of both Master of Science degrees because my building of Formula One race cars as a soloist becomes successful enough to warrant my attaining a degree in car design. So, thinking through what could go wrong meets car essentials. And so I'm like, okay, let's say I am pursuing a PhD in physics in Italy, and I'm living with my Lewis Hamilton, and I'm living with my Brad Pitt, and I'm building a Formula race car for each. And I'm thinking about it, and like including forging components, like doors, and making tires, actually making the rubber for the tires, making the windows. I mean, I have enough technical proficiency on some level that none of it might actually be entirely new. So it's like a capstone of everything I've done in my life in some form. And so it's so I think the big question there is whether that's I would actually be able to do that or not. So if I did and it was semi-timely and I'm working on this PhD and I get a Master's of Science or Master of Science in Cardiology, a Master of Science in Physics, and the car thing is going, at some point it might be nice to have some formal design training. So I could talk with my PhD advisor, especially if so that's the PhD in physics. If I already have a master degree with that person, they might be like, heck yes. Plus, how are you going to transition those affiliations for anything you publish, right? So it might be super cool legacy for the person, right? They get to be my, they already have that master's supervisor, advisor, connection. They brought me home to Rome. And I was thinking, and a key here, and something I don't know if I've mentioned before, is, so if I'm building somebody a car, these two men, my Lewis and my Brad, a car, and I'm building it snug to them so that whoever, if a car company, whatever car company buys the car, if they buy the car, they can't just swap out the driver. And I was like, well, then technically I need them to be available. My Lewis and my Brad. So for testing the car, because I can't test it, so the only person that will ever drive that car during the design and manufacturing building by me, Tanis, she, her, hers of Seattle, would be by the person I am designing the car for, because otherwise it doesn't fit them snug like a glove. So there would be no person turning the car on, checking it, make sure it's running. No. They got to be available. So there's a big other thing in all this, in addition to being able to build the vehicle, is, if my Brad and my Lewis, I'm far enough on the car that I'm I need you here every day, multiple times a day, to test this out in the car so I can make progress. Would they be willing to, say, they can't travel because I need them that much for the car, building of the car, would they be willing to take a year off from their race car driving? Because they're both going to be driving Formula One race car. So whatever stage they're at in their career, to actually be present at home for their role there. So that's another ingredient, so to speak. And so I'm that would be a lot of, in my perspective, a lot of stars aligning, although not infinitely many stars. They're just a very few big stars aligning. For this alternative ending. And I will also specify, is that a degree from Ferrari? So I know some technical realms, there's technical degrees. I think the proper degree name is journeysmith for certain. I think that's for the building of knives, is a journeysmith degree. There are actual technical degrees for some of this. So I was I don't, Is it a PhD in car design? Is it a Journey Smith degree in car design? And it might depend on who the issuing is. Something cool about this is I say an alternative ending here, as it may allow me to publish with affiliations matching on article relevance, so like peer-reviewed journals. It may help me gain a solid publishing base and presence in my career. Yeah, so if I'm working on this car and I make this alloy and it has certain attributes and people haven't published about it and it works and it like it actually like works, then share it by publishing. But do I have the publishing presence, you know, to do that in the corresponding you know, field? So the car degree in car design might help with that. And race cars I am building here refer to one for my Brad Pitt and one for my Lewis Hamilton. And so I put Lewis first in ordering because this is a day of content, YouTube content I've kind of centered around him. However, I have previously mentioned that my Brad Pitt would be the car that I would start on and ideally finish first. Although there's like the, do I start one and then once I have enough confidence start the other, or like just make it like pointless. So if that did happen, then make sure to finish the one for Brad first, even if it's like, you know, a day different at each stage or something, that kind of thing. So there we go. That's on an alternative ending for a PhD attempt in physics, a degree in car design.